Hey, what's up guys, Radku here, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today is going to be Mathmech. Now this deck is super cool, and I had a friend who was building this, and he hasn't gotten a chance to yet, but he's still trying. So this deck is really cool. It's a Cybers type deck, and it kind of reminds me of, Salamangreat, the way it can work with Cybers so well, because half the deck is literally just a Cybers engine with a Debug, Balancer Lord, Micro, and Exceed. And then we have the Signet, which can really help this deck, especially since this deck is all Cybers monsters other than the few hand traps that we have. But without further ado, let's jump right into the deck profile. Starting things off, play 3 copies of Mathmech Sigma. Now this card is pretty cool because if you control no monsters in the extra monster zone while this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except for Cybers. Now the big reason I play all the stuff that I do in my extra deck is because of this card. This card is a great special summon, but the problem is you're locked into Cybers monsters, which can really limit your plays. So that's why I play so many Cybers type monsters that you normally wouldn't play in just any other deck. But I thought they were pretty good in this deck. So I play 3 copies of this because it's a free special summon on a tuner. And then I play 3 copies of Addition. You can target one face-up card on the field. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for Cybers. Also special summon this card. Yeah, that, then the targeted gains 1,000 attack. So this can actually help further your plays to give, monsters more attack, but also, again, it's a free special summon. That's why I play so many Link monsters in the extra deck, because this deck is great with Link summoning. Like, it's really good. Even though it's made to be a Synchro/Xyz deck, which it can spam out really well, I think it's best served as a Link spam deck with the Xyz and Synchro Summon as a backup. Then I play 3 copies of Mathmech Subtraction. You can target one face-up monster on the field. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except for that. Also special summon this card from your hand, and if you do that, targeted monster loses 1,000 attack. So realize it says monsters on the field, so it doesn't have to be your monsters, which means that you have some combo plays there with just making your opponent's big beat sticks lose attack, which is really good, especially like if you just have special summons. But also you have cards like Addition and Subtraction, which funny enough have adding and subtracting effects that can really help your plays go through, as well as just being free special summons. Then 3 copies of Mathmech Nebula. You can tribute one Cybers monster, special summon one Mathmech from your deck. Then, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Cybers monster you control in the extra monster zone. It can make 2 attacks. So, I play the transcode update jammer engine, so you can actually use this to have your Cybers monster attack twice, which can actually lead to the transcode OTK in Salamangreats, which is pretty good, as well as this being able to, 1, be a tuner, and 2, you can tribute Sigma, and then Sigma's effect wouldn't really do anything. I don't know what I was thinking. But you can still use this to tribute any of your, like, Cybers monsters that are on the field, like, the ones that have free special summon effects. That way that you can still keep going without losing a ton of advantage. Then I play 3 copies of Mathmech Diameter. When this card is normal summons, target 1 level 4 or lower Cybers in your graveyard, special summon it, but it cannot activate its effects, which really good effect. And then it has a negation effect. Once per turn during this monster's Synchro Xyz that gained its material. Like I said, this is a Synchro Xyz based deck, even though it works really well with Link Spam. Gain the effect of once per turn during the turn this card was summoned. When your opponent activates a card effect, quick effect, you can negate the activation, which means you don't have to burn through your Xyz materials if you use them, which the extra deck cards are broken beyond belief. But on top of having a free negation, it's so good. Then I play one copy of Division and one copy of Multiplication. The thing about these is it isn't very good. Multiplication can change its multiply its level by 2. Funny enough, and then this one can you contribute one cyber monster you control in the extra monster zone, which in itself is terrible. Special summon up to one level 4 cyber monster each from your hand and graveyard. Then if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can it's an okay effect. If anything, you might want to just drop the multiplication, because you don't, as you can see, you don't have any monsters that you can really use it with, unless you're going for final Sigma play, which then it's good, but you're still playing 4 copies of it, and then you're playing 6 copies of all your other monsters, which means that if you need to, you can search it out super easily, and if you don't want to see it, you don't have to. Then I play 3 copies of Lady Debug, starting off the Cybers engine, because Lady Debug's just probably one of the best generic Cybers cards. You can add one level 3 or lower Cybers monster from your deck to your hand, which can search any of your cards. Again, you're playing multiplication, so you could search this with Sidnet mining and then do anything else you want to. Then I play 3 copies of Balancer Lord. This card is great because you can pay 1,000 life points and then normal summon one Cybers monster in addition to your normal summon. Then you can special summon one level 4 or lower monster from your hand, which is if it's banished. So I'm pretty sure somewhere you can banish cards in this deck, so it's still a really good effect. If need be, like, you can just ignore that last effect. Sorry, I deleted one. You could just ignore the last effect and continue on with your plays because you got an additional normal summon. Then I play 3 copies of Microcoder. This card is really good because it's generic Cybers. If a Cybers monster you control would be used as link material for a Code Talker monster, including the code, it can be used as link material from your hand. Then if this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, for the link summon, you can add one Signet card from your deck to your hand, which some people will run like some specific Signet cards, but I figured that the engine was already so big that I really didn't need to, and that's why I put a few Code Talker cards, including Transcode, which again you can use Transcode OTK in this deck, which is one of the main reasons why I played 3 copies of Microcode, but also you can use negation effects with Decode, which can really help your plays go through. Plus you can do link climbing if worse comes to worse. That's why I also play Inverted for link climbing. Then I play 3 copies of Parallel Exceed. You can special summon this card, and its level becomes 4, and its original attack and defense become halved. Then if this card is link summon, or if you can only use each effect once per turn. If you link summon, you can special summon this card from your hand to a zone a link monster points to, or if this card is normally special summon one Parallel Exceed from your deck. It is a hard once per turn on the following effects, but you can use these to link climb into your final Sigma, on top of it just being great for link plays into Avermax or Appaloosa. So really good. And then rounding off the monsters, 2 copies of Ash Blossom, just because you don't have 3 of your whatchamacallit face called by the grave, which means that you're kind of stuck in a rut with you not having much disruption other than your monsters, which even then your monsters have good disruption, but it's not really enough at some point, so you want to slow down your opponent's plays. And continuing on for the hand traps, 3 copies of Imperm. I just put it down here because it's a trap. Imperm is just great in general, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna get a reprint someday. Sometime soon, like in the next 3 sets or something. It's gonna get something, hopefully. Then I play 3 copies of Signet Mining to search literally your entire deck. I might do some playtesting with this deck, so you might want to keep an eye out for that. Then I play 2 copies of Equation, because you can special summon from the graveyard. It is a hard once per turn, but I doubt you draw these cards very often. Plus, this card is really good for the fact that it's just free special summon back on a deck that's made to go into synchro plays, which means that you can effectively get back all your monsters, and go into like a final Sigma again. Like I said, Imperm. Then I play 1 copy of Mathmech Super Factorial. This card is actually searchable in this deck. And the thing is that you play 1 copy of it because it can special summon back 3 of your monsters. So the only downside to this is that you immediately have to go into a Synchro or Xyz play with a Mathmech monster. So that means you can summon a Final Sigma super easily with it, which is completely broken. Or go into any of your Xyz monsters, which are also completely broken. So that is it for the main deck. Main deck is super solid. If anything, you'd cut out the Microcoder, but even then you play your Transcode OTK, you play Code Talker Inverted just for extra special summons, and you play Decode for a bit of negation, which means that you have so many things that you can do with it. Then all your other cards are definitely mandatory because you want to do all your Mathmech monsters so that you have just the name always in your hand, and then you have so many ways of searching it that no matter what, you're always going to end up with a combo in your hand. Then for the extra deck, 2 copies of Geomathmech Final Sigma. This is probably like one of the most broken cards ever. Unaffected by card effects except Mathmech cards. Then while in your extra monster zone, if this card is in the extra monster zone and battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. Then if this card is destroyed by battle or in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add 1 Mathmech card from your deck to your hand. Crazy broken effect. So let's say this gets destroyed by quick play card effect. You can search out your super factorial, then summon back all the materials you use to summon it, which you just need 3 Mathmech monsters to summon it, which is super easy turn 1. So being able to search out super factorial after this card is destroyed means that you can special summon it on your opponent's turn, which is crazy, and it's unaffected by card effects, which of course it's not gonna get destroyed by card effects. But ignoring that part, crazy broken effect. Then I play 1 copy of Mathmech Magma. Yeah. Then when this card is destroyed by battle, you can target 2 cards. When it destroys a card by battle, target 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy them. Please, I'm sorry for the background. Then you can search 1 Mathmech spell or trap, which is really good. Both of these have that effect, which means you can search out your super factorial and go into any of your plays. Then I play 2 copies of Alibertian. So basically it gains an effect off of how many materials it had. 2, you can add a Mathmech from your deck to your hand. 3, you can add 1 level 4 lower monster from your deck to your hand, which means you can search any of these. And then 4, you can add 1 spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Any spell or trap card, which is crazy. Like, this can search anything. Literally anything. Then you can only use each of the effects once per turn. Then I play 2 copies of Lapation. You can basically, if a Mathmech monster you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can detach an Xyz material instead, which is a great lockdown considering how many cards can't be destroyed by battle. Then you can the listed order is skipping stuff. You can detach 3 Xyz material from this card, then choose that many effects. You cannot choose the same twice, and you must resolve them in the listed order, skipping any that you did not choose. You can send 1 random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, broken. Send 1 card from your opponent controls to the graveyard, okay. Send 1 spell or trap card from your opponent controls to the graveyard. So on top of it having a great lockdown effect, it has sniping. Then for the monsters, access code for OTK, which you can use for Microcoder. 1 Crusadia Avramax for also OTK potential. 1 Appaloosa for negation. Decode for Code Talker microcode plays. Transcode because you can use Nebula to go into your transcode OTK, update jammer for that, Splash Mage for special summon abilities, and 1 Code Talker inverted. And that is it for the deck. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, let me know what you thought, and let me know if there's anything you would change about this deck. Pretty solid main deck. Like, you wouldn't want to change much about the main deck, and then definitely solid extra deck, if not a bit pricey. But yeah, that's pretty much it, and I will see you in the next Yu-Gi-Oh video. Peace, guys.